My name is Andrada Serafim. I am a scientific researcher at the Advanced Polymer Materials Group at the University Polytechnic of Bucharest in Romania. My project aims at finding a material that is suitable for replacing the natural tissue, the natural cartilage. I'm really satisfied with my project. So it's the first research project that I'm conducting by myself. And I think that I did a good job as project manager, and I am really, really happy with the team I chose. We did everything we said we will do in the time frame that we said we will do it in. And the things that we've learned, I am confident that it will benefit us all in moving forward with our research. Besides the scientific part, I think that we are a really welded team. Each one knows its part. We can trust each other, and we can brainstorm together very well. I think it's important to have a team that you can rely on. I have at my disposal great infrastructure. I have at my disposal a great team. We are several researchers that work together in this project, and having a great team is really, really important. So maybe some more time it would be great. I have everything I need, so I just need more time. So we are a group of about 35 people. We are not a small group, so it's pretty large. We don't all do the same thing, so we are divided in smaller teams. We work together, so if you ever need an advice or a reagent that you don't have in that moment, you have someone to go to. My team on my project, we are 4 scientists. Each of us has its own piece to do in the project, either synthesis or characterization of the material. And it's a really nice group, all of it, because we talk a lot, we share our knowledge or our doubts. We find answers while talking, while taking a break. We joke a lot. We have a lot of fun while doing our job, of course. So it's very nice. It's a nice team. We also have students that work with us, and it's really nice because they are always enthusiastic and really curious and want to know a lot. And you really have to watch them, because sometimes they are so curious that they don't mind asking what happens if I mix these two. You have to watch them. It's a pretty dynamic environment and a pretty nice welded team. I think that there were several people that had a great influence on me becoming a scientist, on me being here in this moment. So when I was in high school, I wanted to be a chemistry teacher for high school. And my chemistry teacher told me, listen, don't go to the University of Bucharest, go to Polytechnica, because you'll have several options there and you will learn engineering, and that's a great field. So I came here and I met my professors. I met Professor Iovu, who is now the head of the laboratory, and he had a very nice talk about biopolymers. And he was very passionate, and he spoke very nice about this field. And later I met Professor Stancu, who became my mentor during my PhD. Then I met other colleagues, and they were also passionate about this field and also passionate about their work and what can be done and how much there is to discover still. It might be something with this field. I should give it a go. So I did, and during my PhD, I was fascinated. I still am fascinated by that encounter. Was the decisive step for me, I suppose. It was really so great. Every day, learning something new, finding new ways in synthesizing a material or characterizing a material or using an old material to do new stuff with it. So you read the literature and you see that somebody used something for an application, and you start thinking, what if I use something else? Would this work? Or this kind of synthesis? Or what can I do? Can I apply that knowledge in my research? You never get bored. So this is great about research, that you never get bored. I never imagined I will be a scientist. Sometimes I still can't believe it. I thought that scientists are really serious people living in their books and their equations, and that they barely talk to you like in the movies, lab coats, goggles, gloves, and that's it. But in reality, no. So we have fun. Of course, it's also frustrating, don't get me wrong. There are always days when nothing works and everything you do, you put in the bin. And they're not days, they're months until you figure out what's wrong. Or you just say, okay, this will never work. I'm missing something. I'm running out of time. And I have to change something. And maybe you give up for that moment, or maybe you give up forever at that route of obtaining something. It's also frustrating, but it's also fun because you don't know what to do, and then a colleague comes and gives you an idea that was so easy, but you never thought of it. It was right in front of you, but you never thought of trying that way. So it's not as I imagined scientists at all. It's quite different. Actually, there are studies that have been made, and they show this, that in order to solve a problem, you have to step away from the problem. We wrote an article recently, and I didn't like the title, but I couldn't think of something else. An idea popped into my head while I was driving. So I just pulled over and put a note on my phone. And this happens pretty often. When you least think of something, you have an idea while washing the dishes or in the gym. It mostly happens when I write something, either a funding request or an article, because you get stuck. You know that what you're trying to say, but you can't find the words or the phrasing. It happens all of the sudden. So that's when you have to take a break, take a pen, write it down, because you will forget. I think that there is room for improvement. I think that we are a bit closed, like a sphere that we are all inside, and we need to communicate more. And this idea, actually, we had a talk within our group recently about communicating not just with each other, but with the whole world. That people need to know that we exist and that we do research, and we are looking for solutions, and we are looking for improving things that already exist, but not only with the outside world, even between us, because as I told you, time is limited for all of us, and we all have a lot of things to do. And maybe we could find more time to just talk to each other in a less formal environment. That's why coffee breaks in conferences are really appreciated, because then you can really talk to other people. You see something that someone did and you think that that can be suitable for your research, and people are really uh, available for discussion. You just have to find the courage to approach them. Yeah, I think that we can communicate better. Well, I like washing the glassware, but I hate putting it back on the shelf. So I can wash it, but if somebody could just move it, it would be great. Other than this, if I don't know what to do with some results that I found, I can always ask one of my colleagues. Um, so I can find advice, but unfortunately, I can't find anyone to put the glassware back where it belongs. No, I like the cleaning. Actually, it relaxes me. Cleaning is good, but putting it back, it's a hassle. Well, I like the synthesis, and I like microcity characterization. We have microcomputer tomograph, and I like using it because, well, when scanning, you get a series of images, and then you put them all back together, and you get the 3D image of the object that you scanned. And that moment between registering the images and putting them all back together, it's like before you open a Kinder egg, because you have a surprise inside. It's a bit of emotion there. You want to see if you did a good job, if that is how you imagined it will be. So mostly before getting the results of an analysis, that's an emotion there. You want it to be right, you cross your fingers, and then you get the results. And sometimes it's not as you imagined. You have to start all over again. There is always room to grow in science. So I hope that I will carry on with my research, and I hope that I will be able to keep my team and make it bigger. I'm very fond of working with other people. I don't think that you can do something by yourself. I think that teamwork is very important. And I hope that we will continue working together, and we will find the answers to the questions we have now, and come up with other questions and other answers, and so on. Currently, I'm working on a project that aims the obtaining of a material that is suitable for articular cartilage repair. So the articular cartilage, it's a difficult tissue to mimic, because it must be soft enough to take on the shocks, like when you jump or when you do push-ups. There is a shock on your joint. So it must be soft enough to absorb these shocks, but it must be hard enough to be resilient to repeated shocks. Like when you go to the gym and do jumping jacks, you repeatedly put pressure on your joints. So it's not easy. It's a bit difficult to mimic that tissue. And it's very interesting because basically, no matter how you live your life, if you do sports or not, if you eat well or not, no matter how you do it, how you live your life, at some point in your life, you will have joint problems, because you'll get old and you will get to that part. So it's important to find something that helps the tissue, either that it replaces it or helps it regenerate. Remember how I said earlier that I think that in science there is room for improvement in communicating with each other and with the rest of the world. And I believe that the Appendorf community is aiming to do that, to let people know that we are doing research and what we are working on. As we had the pandemics recently, everybody turned to science. People need to know that science is there and research is being made all the time, not only when there is a crisis like this one. And we are trying to find solutions for problems. So I would like to use this platform to communicate to the world that we're working on stuff.